key race that we are watching this morning is the race for North Hempstead Town Supervisor.
The Democratic candidate Dave Kerpen is here right now. He's joining us live inside of our newsroom. Dave, thanks for being here. Tell us here on Election Day, make your final pitch to voters.
Thanks for having me, Rich and Aaron. It's great to be here. Well, I'm very excited. You know, my opponent has told nothing but lies over the last few months. 16 mailers they've sent out trying to compare me to Zoran Mamdani, but I am a Zionist capitalist, and I am very, very excited to lead the town of North Hempstead. It's going to be very, very tight, so we need everyone out there to get out there and vote, and we're going to win this thing.
A lot of people saying this is going to come down to experience in this race. Jen DeSena leading for the last 4 years. What do you say to that in the fact of the experience to lead that town?
Well, I have 20 years of experience leading 7 different companies, and I'm very proud of the fact that we've been voted best place to work with five different years with 2 different companies. I'm very proud of my leadership experience, and I'm quite certain it's going to play very, very well in government.
Dave, lastly, what is the one thing you'd be able to promise residents that you would change if elected in the town of North Hempstead?
I am going to reform the buildings department once and for all. It has been 40 years of a broken buildings department. My opponent's had 4 years to fix it. She still hasn't fixed it. We must get the buildings department working ASAP.
All right, Democratic candidate Dave Kerpen for North Hempstead Town Supervisor. Thanks so much for coming in and joining us early on this election day.
Let's go. Get out and vote.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
The key race that we are watching this morning is the race for North Hempstead Town Supervisor.
And incumbent Republican Jen DeSena joins us now from our newsroom.
Jen, thanks so much for joining us early. Today is the day, Election Day. Do you think you did enough to keep your spot?
Good morning. Well, we have worked like crazy during my 4 years. We have renovated parks. We have just ticked off thing after thing that was not being done before. You know, the prior administration was very good at announcing things like, let's do green lights, but they didn't, and now I did. So 7,000 LED lights are being put in. This is going to be good for our environment and good for our taxpayers. We are paving 43 miles of roads compared to 8. So better, again, better for safety. This is what our residents want, their quality of life. Our parks are places where they gather, and we have done all of this while cutting taxes 3 years in a row, and this year a flat tax. So I'm very proud of what we have accomplished in 4 years. I'm pretty confident that our residents want to keep going in that direction.
Jen, 4 years ago, you helped to usher in that red wave across Nassau County. 2 years ago, Republicans took control of the town board for the first time in a long time. How important is it for you as supervisor to have a Republican board as well? Do you think voters will be able to make that happen for you tonight?
I do think so. I think they know that we are delivering what they want. You know, when I was first elected, the opposition didn't even let the Republican council people into the town board suite. That's all behind us now. We have stopped debating political things during our meetings. We're getting our work done, and people like that. Even the building department, which I ran on 4 years ago, you know, it had been plagued for 20 years with problems. I wasn't able to actually make the changes until I had that Republican majority. So I know that people realize I need my whole team in order to deliver for them. Since we got that majority, we have changed the software. We have put documents online. We've broken down the wall that existed between our professionals in the building department and the public. And you know, you can't serve the public if you don't let them in. So now we have people who can come in, they make an appointment with our building commissioner. We're giving permits in as low as a month compared to 18 months under the prior administration. So, you know, all these improvements are going to benefit the residents.
All right, North Hempstead Town Supervisor Jen DeSena, thanks so much for joining us on this election day. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
The race for Hempstead Town Supervisor.
The Democratic candidate is Joe Scianablo, and he joins us now live from our newsroom. Joe, thanks for being here. You just heard that report about the turnout, seeing decent turnout this morning, but the early voting favored Republicans. What's your message to voters who maybe have been sitting on the sidelines?
No, thanks for having me, Aaron and Rich. Look, as a United States Marine, I've seen firsthand the importance of having free and fair elections, especially being on the battlefields of Al-Nusra or Iraq. And look, as a New York City police officer and a former prosecutor, I understand the importance of laws, especially as it pertains to protecting women and children of domestic violence like I did. And they're meant to keep the public safe. In this election, I think it's important that the people understand and know that leadership and authority should be earned. It shouldn't be done through some backroom, backdoor, secret illegal deal. It erodes the public trust. So in this election, I'm imploring people to go out there and vote what's right. Vote for Joe Scianablo this election cycle. We're not running on what's right and left. We're running on what's right and wrong here.
That issue very much played a role in the campaigning for this election. Do you think you did enough, and what's one thing you would change if you get elected today, Joe?
Well, look, we put it all on the line. We've been working nonstop. I don't know if you remember last time I was here, I had a full head of hair, so if that's any indication of how things are going, they're going well. But one of the things that will change is we've partnered with an assemblyman and the state senate. We're going to close this backroom, backdoor loophole, because just as I believe that it's not right for Republicans to mute the voice of the people through illegal appointments, Democrats shouldn't be able to do so either. And that's why we're truly running on what's right and wrong, not right and left. So that's why people need to go out there and vote Joe Scianablo today as the next supervisor of the town of Hempstead.
Joe Scianablo's been out there making his case. Good to join us here this morning. Thank you, Joe.
Race for Hempstead Town Supervisor.
And the incumbent Republican John Ferretti joins us now live in our newsroom.
John, thanks so much for coming into the newsroom early on this election day. There was a lot of talk during this campaign about a backdoor deal that got you into this position by the Democrats. What do you have to say about that to voters, and will that play a role?
Well, good morning, Erin. Good morning, Rich. My opponent likes to talk about that. He constantly is talking about a notice requirement that he alleges occurred prior to me being on the town board. Look, residents in the town of Hempstead, they're concerned about three issues. Number one, property taxes. My record as a county legislator, I cut Nassau County property taxes by $70 million over 7 years. I eliminated a planned $150 million tax hike by Laura Curran, and I promised when I became town supervisor, I would bring those same principles to the town of Hempstead. On day 50 as town supervisor, I presented my tax cut budget for the town of Hempstead in 2026, which will deliver an 18% property tax cut in the general fund, amounting to a $5 million property tax cut for every single resident of the town of Hempstead. Number one. Number two, public safety. I'm proud of my record as a county legislator, delivering the safest county in the country, Nassau County. And that's because we funded the police, never defunding the police. And number three, Zohran Mamdani could very well be leading New York City. That's a border city to the town of Hempstead. And I have pledged to fight the radical socialist policies of Zohran Mamdani, those policies which are aligned with my opponent.
All right, John Ferretti, the Hempstead Town Supervisor, in one of the most watched races tonight. John, thank you.
Thank you both.
Thanks, John. Another key race that we're watching this morning is one in Suffolk County, the race for Huntington Town Supervisor.
The incumbent is Republican Ed Smyth, and he joins us now in our newsroom.
Good morning, Ed. Thanks so much for coming in. Election day. Today is the day. Do you think you did enough to keep the votes, to keep you in your position?
Yeah, well, I'd like to think so. I mean, we've left everything on the field, and we're going to continue campaigning through 9 p.m. tonight. But we have a great record to run on, and I'm very proud of that.
Ed, you've stayed hyper-focused on local issues here, both during your campaign and even in the primary earlier this year. What do you think you can point to Huntington Town residents and say, I've made this better over my time in office?
Well, yeah, I think staying focused on the local issues at a local municipal level is vitally important. It's what the voters expect. It's what the residents expect, and that's what we did in Huntington Town Hall. I think the budget is probably the most important thing that the residents of the town are focused on, in the sense that it's, the cost of living in Huntington, the taxes in Huntington are things that people stay focused on. And a lot of we stay out of the professional wrestling side of politics that you see at the national and sometimes state and city level. We stay focused in Huntington.
Your challenger often brings up transparency of you and the board. What do you have to say about that to Long Islanders who may hear that today?
He never paid attention to what was happening. So, it was like he just woke up and suddenly there was no transparency because he wasn't paying attention. The town of Huntington has been open and transparent for my entire time in elected office. We could not have been more transparent about everything that we've done.
All right. Ed Smyth, thank you so much for coming in, and we'll be watching the results tonight.
In Suffolk County, the race for Huntington Town Supervisor.
A Democratic candidate, Cooper Macco, joins us now from our newsroom. Cooper, thanks for coming in. Let's talk about your race. Right now, Republicans have full control of town government, 5-0 advantage on the town board. What's at stake tonight?
Thank you, Rich. I think a lot's at stake. We don't really have any checks and balances on the Huntington Town Board right now with that 5-0 supermajority, and we're looking to bring some Democrats onto the town board to help bring transparency back to Huntington.
You talk a lot about transparency in your campaign throughout the last couple of months. What do you think Long Islanders need to know about before they head to the polls?
Yeah, I think they should just look at the track record of the existing town board and ask a lot of questions. Why they're making these decisions, what's really going on behind the scenes. The town board's telling us a lot of things, but when you dig a little deeper, they really don't hold water.
You've criticized the board as being mostly inactive. That's how you put it when we spoke a couple of weeks ago. Where do you think the town needs to be more active? What should they be doing? What would you be doing if you're elected?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of issues in Huntington that people forget about. Affordability is a massive issue across Long Island and in Huntington as well. With the cuts to SNAP that we're seeing right now at the federal level, the town needs to be stepping in more to help its residents and not just sit idly by while services are cut. There's a lot the town could be doing, from reducing costs anywhere, including the gas pumps, which is a unique feature of Huntington right now.
Cooper, one last big change that you would make if you are elected into this position today.
Yeah, I think we have to go, as I mentioned, back to transparency. We have to go immediately to an online checkbook so people can see where the money's going. I don't think we can allow the town board to push forward budgets that aren't reviewed and aren't seen until the end of October on an election year. It really puts us at a disadvantage. So I think transparency, open and honest books, really the way to go. Bring back checks and balances in the town of Huntington.
All right, Cooper Macco is the Democratic candidate for Huntington Town Supervisor. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Cooper.